Chip Grooners, welcome back to another of my Sunday sermons. Yes, lessons learnt during Chicago Marathon. And in this lesson, this is my third lesson. Third lesson will be about technology. How I used and didn't use the technology during Chicago Marathon. Cue titles. Yes, welcome back runners, yes. My name's Donato and welcome back to the Running Guru Show. And today's Sunday sermon, yes, Sunday sermon, lessons learnt. This is third lesson learnt. And in this lesson, as I said, I'll be talking about the technology. Yes, the watch, the Garmin watch that I was using. Do you want to have a close-up look? Yes, it's a beautiful piece of kit, isn't it? Yeah. And it's amazing technology, very expensive. Oh, I think I got mine at discount because they now have a Fenix 5X or 5S or something, you know, bigger, brighter, better, and all that type of stuff. So this is, you know, I think it's old technology, but anyway, it's great. I love it, wear it, and yeah, I worn it during the race, and I'll be doing a vlog upcoming in terms of the Garmin itself and how it's good for training, but that's for another one. I'm here to talk to you about the lessons learned with this watch during Chicago Marathon. And there was a number of lessons learned, and the key thing is why do most people use these watches, and what do they get from it when they're racing? Now, for a lot of people, they have goal targets, goal times, and those times translate to a certain pace. So they'll be constantly looking. This is what I see people doing during races, and I've seen them on park runs as well, 5Ks. People just constantly keep looking at the watch, keep looking at the watch, keep looking at the watch. Everyone checking pace. And certainly during the Chicago Marathon, I kept hearing people around me shouting out paces because they were running with running buddies or whatever, and they were running together and they were calling to each other, you know, saying, oh, I've got this pace, I've got that pace. So the first lesson that I'd learned during Chicago Marathon is the paces were a load of nonsense. Why were they a load of nonsense? GPS doesn't work with skyscrapers. Yeah, it's all over the place. So I had GLONASS on, and even with GLONASS on, the random statistic for you is that I'd ran an extra 1.5 kilometers somehow, even with GLONASS on. It recorded, so my marathon time was a little over 3 hours. So yeah, so I'd ran the extra 1.5 kilometers. Now obviously that's wrong. Yeah, it's 42.2 kilometers for a marathon race, but somehow this lovely piece of kit, even with GLONASS on, which is more accurate, more everything, it came with over, you know, about 1.5 kilometers over the distance. So the distance is wrong. So obviously that means the paces were wrong. Now, when I'm racing, lesson learned for me is I don't look at this watch for any paces or any of that guidance at all. I have it on there to record that I've done the race, yeah? And then I can look back post-race in terms of statistics, analysis, heart rate, effort, all that type of stuff, cadence, how was I doing? And it's the same type of stuff, and I'll talk about more of this in a forthcoming vlog about how I use the technology for training. But the biggest lesson learned for me during the race is not to look at the watch for any form of pacing, any form of distance. And I think I saw someone tweet that she was running Chicago, and because a lot of it, as you know, running marathons, it's up here, it's mental toughness. And I recall vividly, I didn't have any prescription glasses, coming up to a mile marker at New York, and I could have sworn it was a 22-mile marker. When I got there, it was 21 mile. Now, psychologically, I knew I had to do an extra mile. And this person on Twitter tweeted that with their GPS watch, it had bleeped a mile short. So they got to a certain mile marker, their watch bleeped, and they thought they were running a certain distance, certain time, and they saw the actual distance and they got totally demotivated. I think this person actually ended up stopping walking, got so demotivated and disheartened, and actually stopped running and walked for a fair distance to remotivate themselves and get them going again. That's the kind of impact these things can have if you're watching it religiously. So for me, it's all about feel. The training that I do, I go out training and train and train and train and train. I know how I feel in certain paces, and again, it's you train at certain effort levels, which translate to certain paces, and sometimes it translates to the pace that you want for a particular PB that you're aiming for, and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the weather, the conditions, and all types of things. So running at a pace, I mean, the other thing is raining, headwinds, and maintaining certain paces means that if you've got run into a headwind, and I'm stating the obvious here, sorry if it is obvious, I should maybe give warnings if it's stating the obvious. If you're running at a certain pace and you're running into a headwind, to maintain that pace is more effort than if you're running and there was no headwind. So the effort is a lot harder, and obviously when you're running a marathon, it's all about effort, and if you put in too much effort, that's how we end up hitting the wall, which if you go back to my lessons learnt in number 1 about pace, if you go out too fast early in the race, that's how we hit the wall. We burn our energy out and we can't put it back in or whatever, and it just doesn't work. So hopefully this has helped you in terms of the technology and lesson that I'd learnt. Certainly switch when you're doing big city marathons. Switch if you've got GLONASS, put the GLONASS on. But if you're looking at it for pace, I can almost guarantee, you know, I think one professional coach said even when you're out training, you know, you're reliant on a satellite that's X thousand miles away to come back and tell you an exact pace. So, and as we know, sometimes the difference of 5 seconds on a pace per kilometre can have a massive difference during a marathon race. So, yeah, my big lesson number 1 is not to look at this for pace and times. It just didn't work. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found it useful, and I'm really, really grateful to you guys who keep coming back each and every week and watching this show, and it gives me great motivation to continue sharing the love and joy that I have for running. And as I say, it's not a dampener on the old Garmin. It does have its uses, and as I said, I'll be doing a forthcoming vlog on the benefits of having these and how I use the technology for the actual training and racing strategies and how that works for me. And the technology does have benefits, and it's great to use it to help us to be better people. If after all, isn't that what technology is there for? So thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you at the next vlog, where I'll be talking about, that's lesson number 4. I'll be talking about the fueling strategy that I had, and then in lesson number 5 I'll be talking about the clothing and all the other gears and gizmos that I had that helped me finish. For now, it was the race of my life, 3 hours, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. It's amazing. It's still sinking in. It's an incredible feeling, and hopefully I can help you guys to be not just better runners, but in terms of our lives and how we encompass it in all day-to-day things as well. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you at the next vlog. So remember, wherever you are, whatever you do, yeah, that's right, keep running, yeah! Are you still there? Hey, yeah, you still there? Thanks so much. Love you all. Bye-bye. See you soon.